Good evening, everyone. The meeting will now come to order. It is 6:36. Welcome to the January 9th, 2023 regular meeting of the West Hartford Commission of the Arts. My name is Chuck Corsi, and I'm the chair of the Arts Commission. This meeting is being conducted in a virtual format in accordance with the Freedom of Information Act as amended by Public Act number 21-2, which authorizes municipalities to conduct public meetings virtually. Members of the public can view the meeting live on West Hartford Community Television at whctv.org or YouTube/WHCTV5. The meeting is also being recorded for on-demand viewing and will be available on the town's website. Since we are conducting this meeting in a virtual format, there are some special rules and procedures that I need to cover before we begin. First, I ask all participants to mute your device when you are not speaking. If you wish to be recognized, please raise your hand and I will call on you in the order I see hands. If you are participating by audio only or I do not call on you and the debate is ending, then unmute your phone and let me know so that I can recognize you. Talking to you, Hav, there. Second, all speakers must make a good faith effort to state the person's name and title at the outset of each occasion that such person participates in the meeting. Third, all votes must be taken by roll call unless the vote is unanimous. Fourth, a reminder that if any participant has a problem with connectivity, you should immediately call David, whose phone number you were provided earlier. He will let me know, and we will and he will let me know, and we will recess the meeting while the problem is resolved. If it cannot be resolved quickly, we will ask you to call into the meeting using the phone and participate via audio only. And I'm going to proceed with the roll call. Karen Bachman.
Here.
Matt Bragg.
Here.
Javier Colon.
Here.
Chuck Corsi is here. Latanya Farrell. Jenny Kemp. I see you, Jenny. Carol McCabe. Marilla Pinedasor.
Here.
And Susan Rothenberg.
Here.
Excellent. Okay, just give me a... Okay, excellent. So to start our meeting, actually, I'm very excited to have Roszena and Adrienne with us today. As you may know, Roszena Haskins is the Executive Director of the West Hartford Office of Equity Advancement, and Adrienne Billings-Smith is the Equity Coordinator for the same department. Roszena has asked, and I am very glad that she did, that she and Ace could come tonight and tell us a little bit about what they're doing, and we can talk a little bit about how we can help. So with that, Roszena, I'll turn it over to you. That makes sense?
That's great. Happy New Year, everyone. And thank you for giving us a few minutes of airtime on your very chock-full agenda this evening, just so that we can introduce ourselves and tell you a little bit about the Office of Equity Advancement and what we're up to. Of course, we're interested in learning more about what you're up to and maybe how we can intersect and partner in DEI spaces. So, you know, I serve as Executive Director of Equity Advancement, largely for the Board of Education, where I've been as a building and district leader for the past 16 years. And this past summer, I was honored to have been invited to expand my reach on the town side, working in close collaboration with an equity coordinator. What am I so excited about? I'm going to pause there just so that I can flip the mic to my equity co-engineer and colleague, whom many of you probably need no introduction, but maybe a reintroduction. Adrienne.
Oh, you're on mute, Ace.
It wouldn't be a meeting without someone being on mute. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Roszena. I am Adrienne Billings-Smith. I'm sure I'm known around town, but in this capacity, this new capacity as equity coordinator, it's been an exciting, today is my 2-month anniversary. It's been exciting to get to know folks in a different capacity and really get down to talking about what equity means to them, diversity, inclusion, and how we can better serve not only internally in the building, but our boards, our commissions, businesses, and all of our partners to ensure that we're adhering to the town's mission and living up to it. So thank you for allowing us to be here tonight, to interrupt, as Roszena said, for a few minutes. But I'm excited to get this work started, especially with folks like you, who I already know, some of you who believe in it and are ready to get it done. So thank you for having us, Chuck.
Thanks.
Chuck, one of the reasons that we wanted to be here tonight was because one of our early priorities was to work with the town manager and the town clerk's office to ensure that the representation, talent, and perspectives of all of our boards and commissions more closely mirror our diverse identities and voices, to make all of those that make West Hartford so vibrant already. And so we wanted to kind of make sure that in our interest to expand and ensure access and representation in all areas of services, boards and commissions is so important. What you all do, the way that you lead and serve this community, as volunteers, it's just vital. We need it. But we also want to make sure that we honor and we recognize and we provide access to all of our multi-stakeholders, diverse stakeholders. So last month, the town clerk's office launched an online application portal to apply for a seat on a board or commission. And it was and will continue to be publicized through our various multimedia platforms and across various spaces in the community. So that's where we could use your help. I know that right now you don't have a vacancy, but even as we think about other boards and commissions, as we think about just opportunities to interface with our boards and commissions, just to be thinking about, that kind of diverse representation of talent and background and, just that social capital that we have in our community. And so since that launch, I'm so thrilled to report that we've had approximately 85 applicants in that space of that month, and they represent about roughly 18% in racial diversity. And it's not that you're not required or compelled to have to disclose that, but it's helpful to know. And if we're reaching if we're reaching our community in the authentic way that we, set forth to do. And Adrienne, Adrienne talked a little bit about just building capacity within our organization, within the municipal government, and I know I don't want you to, Adrienne doesn't want to get too far ahead, but maybe you could talk a little bit about, where you can find us. We have a web presence, and maybe your vision or our vision for how we might be able to work together and build capacity in our community.
Absolutely. So where can you find us? Town Hall, 3rd floor, 329. I'm there all day. You can come and visit anytime and read my daily quote to get you hyped up. But honestly, like Roszena said, that we have a mission and a vision that we're working toward because we truly believe in this work. Some things that we're doing right now is working with corporation counsel, the town manager, and our town clerk to provide, education and trainings around what DEI really looks like, and bringing that forth to our boards and commissions, bringing a safe environment for us to discuss our community, and as Roszena said, the social capital we have in it and what that looks like and how we can be more culturally competent as a community and open and accessible as a community. So we're working to get some of those conversations started, and so look out for an email soon, hopefully, to discuss how you guys can be a part of that and signing up, like I said, who we're working with, because I know that, I sat on a board and a commission. at one point, and we had our ethics trainings that we went through, and I think it's really important that we stay on top of those things, because we are representing our community at the end of the day. We are chosen to do things in that hold weight with our council, and with our board of ed and whatnot. They're there to help them make really important decisions on what happens to us daily, our town council folks. And you guys are making important decisions on what happens in our community daily with your own missions, that enhance West Hartford's mission. So be on the lookout for an email, but those are some of the things that we're doing right now.
That's great. And I've got a question. Is it all right if we ask some questions? Or so
Absolutely.
a question I have, one of our charges, what we're trying to do, and again, like I don't have to tell you guys this, as a commission, we do not have a robust treasury. So a lot of what we're trying to do is outreach and advocacy. And one of our charges is to, really help artists in our community. And I know a lot of the things that you were talking about were, pertain to making sure we have greater diversity, inclusion in our town on a government side. But is this something that we could actually work together with you guys in trying, as we look to try and get more artists engaged and identify more opportunity for artists? Is that something that we could work with you on that?
Absolutely. I think, we're a team here. We're all one for this town, and that's what we want to do. We want to be that support system for you guys to make sure that if you have something you want to spitball or brainstorm with us or get advice on things on how to diversify the commission, and it's beyond
Yeah.
race, right? We have have such a culturally diverse and richly diverse town that we want to make sure we're hitting everyone in every section of our town, every part of our community. That moves on to another piece that it's not your question, but making sure we have programs where we're showcasing our community in whatever medium, so people can see them. And being the Arts Council, you guys are so special because art brings everyone together. So we would 100% always be there to help advise, and work with you in making sure that you are getting what you need in terms of support.
Excellent. Do we have any other questions? I want to extend an invitation. I'm actually looking forward to seeing Roszena and Ace on Wednesday at Effie's, I believe it is. And if anybody from the commission wants to join at 8 a.m.
Breakfast is on Chuck, by the way, just so.
That would be great.
Absolutely.
And if questions emerge later on, feel free to reach out to either one of us. And we'd be happy to sit down and have a conversation. Any ideas that come up, we're excited. As Adrienne said, that arts, it's a universal element that we all share. And so that there's an opportunity right there.
Yeah. Also, when you go to our website, we want to make sure that we're showcasing all that our community partners are doing, and really letting people know that like I said, we're a team, and we have this mission, we have this goal, and we have this pathway to what equity looks like, and what diversity looks like, and what inclusion looks like. And there's so many pathways to get to those three things. And I think that you guys could really help in making sure that we're fostering that and focusing on that. Always focusing on our community is our number one priority.
Great. Well, we're eager and very eager to help any way we can. One last question. I talk about how we don't have money, but I'm thinking of things that other communities are doing that require some money. In the arts and culture space, I look at some of the things that what New Haven is doing. They're the Echo. It's kind of it's not an artist collective, but it's a physical brick and mortar spot where you do have lots of art, lots of small businesses in the space. That's something I've always been interested in. Much different than like the new Elmwood Community Center, where you have set programs that are going on, but also more like an incubator for aspiring, artists who are just starting out, artisans, small businesses. But that's something we can talk more about that, and that might be a little more aspirational than practical today. But it's something. I mean, I commend West Hartford for actually having the Office of Diversity and Inclusion and doing what they're doing. But I think, well, no buts. But I want to see. I'd like to see ways that we can, this commission can put that into practice in terms of actual, feet on the street and bodies, and bringing people in the arts community and together.
Well, we're game, Chuck. You know that. So
Right.
whatever we can brainstorm together, the entire commission, and just we're there for whatever you need. So feel free to contact, as Roszena said, feel free to contact us. We're here. We want to hear all your ideas, because we're not the end all be all to DEI work. We're your support to hopefully give you tools and resources and support so that you continue to move it forward. So that
Excellent.
we're here with you for sure.
Yeah, we're
Excellent.
not afraid to get our hands dirty and really dig in there and think outside of the box too. And so I'm just excited listening to that idea and visualizing what that could be. And so, yeah,
Absolutely.
all for it. So
Great.
I'm gonna drive myself over to the next tab for my next meeting. But I want to thank you again for having us here, and look forward to our continued collaboration and partnership.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Take
We'll
care.
see you
Thank
soon.
you.
See you
Thank you.
Wednesday.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Yeah,
you.
definitely.
Thank you.
Bye, y'all.
Okay. And again, if everybody wants to join me on Wednesday, I think it'll be fun. So on to old business. First thing on the agenda, recommendation on the old business agenda, recommendations for the West Hartford Town Hall public display and arts and culture. Ginny and I met with Essie LeBreau. We gave her our final document. It was very warmly received. She is going to share that with the town manager. I actually spoke with the town manager. He was much appreciative. I think now that we're in the new year, the next step is for us to go and present to, I'm not sure which council committee it would be, town council committee. Might be administrative services since it's dealing with town hall, but to talk about it. And, I really, in talking with the town manager, one of the things that Essie said is they have money in their budget for some of these types of things, for curating and hanging, displays in town hall, which kind of led me into a longer conversation with the manager about, we how do I say this? We do so many things so well in West Hartford, but we still are struggling with this idea of promoting the arts and culture events in town. And we'll get to that other stuff in the later on the agenda. And that I think that rightly so has been a lot of where we've been focusing our efforts. There's some great websites in town, the new West Hartford website, but there's not a central point where you can go to click on and see, if you're in the mood for a concert, theater, what have you, on any given week. The town manager understand that. I think, Ginny and I talked to Essie about that, and she did. It's obviously not something that's going to be solved overnight, but it's something we're pushing for. Ginny, did you have anything else you want to add about our meeting with Essie?
No, I mean, I think you hit all the important parts. I mean, I think honestly, I think the ideas that we were proposing really do hinge on sort of, we really do need some funding to properly implement it, without really burning out volunteers. So I think that's exciting that there potentially could be some funding available to hire someone to who has the time to really come up with some great ideas and to implement, like especially the first floor gallery we talked about, or other maybe town-wide, calls for, citizens art or what, all those ideas. But I do think it's really the success of that is, it doesn't just hinge on like, can we hire someone, but that would really excite me if the town really prioritized paying an artist for their time to create some, cool stuff at town hall. Like I think it's really exciting, and I felt hopeful after meeting with Essie. She seemed to be on board, and so we'll see.
Yeah, well said. Does anybody have any questions? Before we head on to the next, okay, I'm going to follow up with Essie this week, just to see where what kind of feedback she's gotten and what the next steps are.
Chuck, can I ask, do you know when, I think she made reference to the whole process, but in terms of timeline, when they would know if there is funding to hire someone, or?
They're in the midst of this is budget season. It's coming
Okay.
up. They have to come up with their budget by, I think, April 30th.
Okay.
So, and she's putting together her budget. One of the things, and that's I'm glad you asked that question, is that we will need to do, and we'll talk more about this at the next meeting, is we're going to need to advocate, and that means testimony at public hearings on the budget, talking about how important this is. It's not really that daunting of a task. A lot of times the public schools get a lot of the attention on the budget and not the town side. The town has its own separate public hearings for town budget. But that's something that, we not only need to go to the commission, to the proper committees as they're formulating the budget and advocate there, but we're going to have to do some advocating publicly at these hearings and emails, things like that. But we'll discuss that more further as we in the next meeting or two. Excellent question. Any other questions? Okay. Redevelopment of St. Brigid School Community Center. That's going along very nicely. They are going to have a theater in there. And now it's a question of, right now they're talking concepts. They're not actually engineering it. But the folks from West Hartford Community Theater were also very effective in their advocacy for, not just the theater, but making sure that there are appropriate storage, restrooms, dressing rooms nearby so that they can do performances there. And I think that, that could bode well, not just for West Hartford Community Theater, but also for the symphony, for the chorale. Marilla, I see you have your hand up.
Yes, The West Hartford Symphony Orchestra just had a meeting last night, and we're discussing the venues that we are seeking for our, next concerts, as the town hall became, from what I understood, inaccessible to us. And I shared with Richard and the rest of the board members the progress that is being made over to St. Bridget's School, and all that is happening. And we are really, really interested in learning more and see if that would be a possible venue for at least half of our concerts. So as you know, West Hartford Symphony Orchestra has 4 concerts a year, and historically 2 of those were held at the town hall and 2 at KO or in other venues. Right now, we had to have the past concert, the December one, in a very, very nice setting at goodness, I'm forgetting that Northwest Catholic High School.
Mhm.
Right? But we were wondering if some efforts can be made so we can either get back into the town hall, maybe, my understanding is that finances played a role. Yet, we're West Hartford Symphony Orchestra. We service the town, and we are always welcoming all the young musicians in the community, and encouraging and supporting them through little scholarships. And I think it would be really cool if we can brainstorm and, as a commission, try to understand how these could take shape and get clarified. That's my 2 cents. I really would love to hear more about what the St. Bridget's plan for these big concert hall / theater
Yeah.
are about. Number of seats and tech equipment.
Yep, understood. I'm curious, what was the reason the town gave for not being able, did the cost to rent the facility go up?
I'm not entirely sure, Chuck. I could follow up with that. I just know that has been played a major role in the decision of not going back, but I'm not entirely sure if, whether it was the rent or maybe the time allocated for setting up, because it's, as you know, the stage has to be set up, and that probably requires a lot of help. That help needs to be paid. So I'm not exactly 100% sure of the details, but that's what transpired.
Why don't we do this, Marilla? Why don't you send me an email and copy Rich, and who's the board chair now?
Well, there are 3 people, so I will follow up with it's a trio.
And let's all get on a call and figure out what's going on, and then we can devise a plan of action
That would be very helpful.
for the short term and the long term. Obviously, the St. Bridget or the New Elmwood Community Center is not going to be open for probably a couple of years, but I think it's going to seat up to 200, so it's not huge, but that's about what town hall. How many did you get in town hall?
Probably
350, I think.
Yeah, a little bit more. Chuck, another idea and a possibility that we had was perhaps alternating between Hall and Connard. I just feel like, it's also something worth looking into. And see if that is somehow something we can rely on. So, things that would come into place that people will feel very comfortable and expect it to happen the same way. Routines are good for all of us, aren't we?
Karen, I see. Yeah, go ahead, Karen.
Yeah, in the early days of the orchestra, and then a year or two later, the West Hartford Women's Chorale, we had a very cooperative arrangement with the schools. And that was done, I think, mostly through the arts department. I mean, through a sort of collegiality, you know?
Yeah.
I believe the orchestra used to actually rehearse, didn't they, at KP? Maybe
still do.
moved. They still do now.
Not at KP, not at KP, I'm sorry, at Sedgwick. We still
At
do.
Sedgwick now, okay. And we also rehearsed there. We moved from there to Sedgwick. We were at Bristow, but it always felt like we were not exactly welcome guests in the environment. I haven't ever talked to Richard about this, but you know, you were moving into a teacher's space, and whenever you do that, things get moved around a little bit, even though you try to keep it exactly as it looked when you went in. So there was that issue, that it wasn't sort of a make these people feel welcome, make, you know, at least they're coming in, this is the way the town wants it to be. And then the access to the high schools and the middle school performance spaces started to close down as each of those schools added more performances. I mean, that's understandable. So an organization like the theater, the community theater, if they're waiting for St. Brigid, they will be unable to mount a big show, which is what they were known for. It included many members of the community in their backstage operations and in a lot of their cast. And they won't be able to mount a show because they have to plan a year out, as I understand. Now, we all plan a year out, but they have to plan to be ready to go into everything by June. So they had to plan last June, I think, to be ready to mount a show, you know, to figure out a big show. It makes planning really difficult. I mean, we've made our peace with it for now, the chorale has, but I know it's been a very difficult year for the orchestra. And I don't think anybody thinks about performance groups like these three organizations anyway, that don't own space. You know, when you don't own space, it's hard to find affordable space to perform and available space too. But it was easier before. COVID, of course, changed a lot of things. Protocol changed, strangers, so to speak, outside personnel were not coming into buildings for 2 years. That's changed a little, I guess. But we started to make our own piece on it, and at a big cost. You know, we found other options for right now. I don't know how that's going to be in the future. But there is, you know, the town would like, we're very community based, both our organizations, as is the theater, in meaning that people who live in our town participate in these. It's not equity actors. It's not, I don't want to put one organization against another either, but they're community based. The people who make them up are people from the community. And the town would like to continue to have all of that because it's good for our livelihood here. But nobody's talking about how to help us.
Yeah, it is. And it's, I think it's right up our alley to, you know, to put our efforts together and ideas and figure it out.
I am really glad that we're having this discussion. So Marilla, I think we'll talk with the symphony, but then also I think we should bring in the Women's Chorale and West Hartford Community Theater as well. And, you know, just kind of, you know, between, you know, the three groups, kind of get I don't want to, we can't demand a plan, but we can go in and say, these are our challenges. And,
yes,
you know, what
raise awareness.
Yeah. What can we do, you know, regarding, you know, we'll get to some sort of solution, but I think we need to go in there on a united front, because I agree. I don't think the Elmwood community is not going to be the answer for everyone. The theater that's currently at the Elmwood Community Center isn't the answer for everyone. It's really not going to be that theater that exists now it's an old elementary school theater that was built about 100 years ago. and this is not meant to be, the Elmo Community Center, may not fit for everyone, but there are other options in town. So really, we'll connect. Karen, if you could reach out to your team and say that, this is something that we want to do, I can reach out to West Hartford Community Theater, and we'll go from there.
Sounds like a great plan.
All righty. I'm really glad we talked about this. Now let's do something about it. Okay. The next three things on the agenda are actually all kind of related. The infrastructure master plan in the center, the wayfinding signage plan, and our talks about the advertising, the digital advertising in town. Feel free to stop me if I'm repeating myself, but there are two efforts going on right now: the infrastructure plan and the signage plan. I've been at meetings for both, where they were looking for community input from some of the commissions. At each one, because I think it pertains, I talked about the need to have some sort of signage that talks about, and this is not huge signage, but some sort of community point where people can see what's happening in the arts and culture community. We have talked, and I have talked. I think I shared with you that the town manager and I spoke with a vendor about who does signs. This was about probably a month and a half ago. Did I share with you that? Okay, good. You remember. So this is something the manager knows. It's on. I talked to these folks. I know with the wayfinding signage plan, that's more about directional signage, but this is signage too. And I advocated it in those meetings. Both of these plans are very early in the stages, but it's my hope, and we're going to continue pressing on it, that this could be a place where money could come for this sort of signage for the arts and culture community. Now, it could be at the end of the day that this effort, I'm sure it will change about what it looks like. We've been talking about these Morris columns for over almost a year now. That might not be the appropriate venue, but I'm thinking of, there's other things that can be done. We need a better place where people can go to find out what's going on in the arts and culture scene in West Hartford. That's the long and short of it. I mean, the Morris columns, one idea. I still think it's nice, but there could be some other ideas as well. So I will keep you up to date as to what's going on with those. I would encourage you, the town has on its website, they have information for both of these plans that are going on, the infrastructure master plan and the wayfinding signage plan. Check them out. There are places there for input. You can give input there. I know that they've listened to it and they put it there, but and I think on both they understand what we're trying to do. We're talking about the West Hartford Center infrastructure plan. God love those banners on Unity Green, but
Well, two of them.
yeah, it's not doing it. It's not enough, and it for a town that is really a leader is I think it's the one of the finest run, best places to live, work, and play in anywhere I've been. I love West Hartford, but that signage is just, it screams, it's 1970. We gotta do better, and we're gonna keep pushing for that. Any questions on any of that? Okay. Engagement assistance for local artists and arts and cultural organizations. I owe you and Latanya, we got to figure out a time to get together. I will send out something this week to both of you.
Okay, that would be that'd be great. It'd be good to catch up and to chat. I've not talked to LaTanya for a bit as well. Is LaTanya on the call? I can't see because I'm on the phone.
She is not.
She's not. Okay. So yeah, I would love to absolutely chat about some possibilities. I love that you asked Roszena and Adrienne about possibilities of finding some opportunities for artists in West Hartford. I think us all putting our heads together would not hurt. So I think that'd be great.
Excellent. Excellent. All righty. Thanks, Hav. Okay, moving along. Cape Farrar has secured funding for the bridge mural underneath the Amtrak line in Elmwood. Which is good news. And then the other update is, Playhouse on Park. As we talked about that last time we got together, they're trying to buy and expand their current home on Park Road. They're still working to get on the bond commission agenda for funding, but we are working with Derek Slapp and the West Hartford delegation, as well as with the town and others. So we'll continue to keep you updated as to progress being made there. Any questions on any old business? And I think I'm going to add on the agenda, space, that we can discuss, and we'll have some updates for the next meeting for space needs for West Hartford Community Theater, West Hartford Women's Chorale, and the Symphony. Does anybody have any new business they'd like to bring up? Okay, I do have a piece. First of all, I'm very grateful for Marilla and all the hard work she's done in putting together minutes over the last couple of years. Can you believe that? Is it a couple? No. Yeah. 20. Time flies. But we need someone to volunteer to take minutes. As you can see from the examples that you guys get of the minutes, it doesn't need to be very in depth. We're not looking for a novel. Usually the minutes are 1.5 pages long, just kind of a summary, but more important, it documents who was at the meetings and the vote of any votes that we've made. So if you could, give it some thought, and if someone is interested in taking on that responsibility for, say, till next January, and then we can mix it up again, that would be much appreciated. Until then, I'll get these out to you with the agendas. Any questions on that? David, do we have anyone from the public that would like to speak?
Chuck, sorry about that. No, we don't.
Okay. No worries. Really?
Chuck, if I'm not mistaken, we just have to approve the November meetings, minutes,
Oh, there
right?
you go.
Do that.
See, always serving. Okay. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about the November minutes? Any questions? Let's do this. Does anybody have any objections to the meeting? Otherwise, I will mark it down as approved unanimously. Any objections? Okay. Let's just to be safe. All in favor of approving the November meeting minutes, say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Great. You guys have it.
Aye.
Thanks, Hav. All righty. Unless there's anything else, we will adjourn. It is 7:20. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you,
Thank
Chuck.
you.
Take care.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Have a good
Happy New Year.
everyone.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.